Time to know the news of the week. I'm Hannah Tabios. This is the MB Rundown. Following the controversy hounding the Good Conduct Time Allowance or GCTA law that led to the impending release of rape slave convict Antonio Sanchez, President Rodrigo Duterte on Wednesday fired Bureau of Corrections Chief Faeldon. In a Malacanang press conference, Duterte said the former Marine captain disobeyed his order.
So one is that Faeldon has to go because Faeldon disobeyed my order. But the night before, on 21st, I think, of August, tinawagan ako ni Senator Bongo. Sabi niya, there's an offing problem.
On the same day, Faeldon immediately released a brief statement accepting the president's order. The chief executive also ordered the 1,700 heinous crime convicts freed under the GCTA law to surrender to authorities or they would be rearrested or worse, get killed. He gave the convicts 15 days to turn themselves in to authorities. He said those who will refuse will be declared as fugitives from justice. President Duterte said he would have to think twice in reappointing Faeldon to another government post. The BuCor post is Faeldon's third position under President Duterte's administration. Convicted former Laguna Mayor Sanchez's former defense counsel and now Malacanang's presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo strongly denied recommending the release of his former client. This after the Board of Pardons and Parole or BPP Executive Director Attorney Reynaldo Bayang revealed on Tuesday's congressional inquiry that Panelo indeed sent a letter to his office. But Panelo maintained his innocence and said it was a mere referral letter sent to the BPP on the former mayor's executive clemency application for evaluation early this year. He said he found nothing wrong with forwarding the letter to the concerned agency, citing that it was neither a form of intervention nor a case of conflict of interest. But the board later denied Sanchez's petition due to the gravity of his offense. Panelo, who is also the chief presidential legal counsel, also admitted on Wednesday that he also met Sanchez's family at the Malacanang grounds. A copy of the palace logbook revealed that the mayor's wife, Elvira, visited Panelo on February 7 this year, exactly a day before Panelo received an email about Sanchez's executive clemency application. The second time was on February 26, the same day when he sent his letter to the BPP. But despite Panelo's defense, some senators are questioning the propriety of his act. The Supreme Court on Tuesday has dismissed the petition of a lawyer that sought to allow same-sex marriage in the country. In a decision penned by Associate Justice Marvic Leonen, the High Court found that there was no unjustifiable issue presented. Supreme Court spokesperson Brian Keith Hosaka also said that the petition was dismissed for violating the hierarchy of the courts and the lack of legal understanding on the part of the petitioner. Lawyer Jesus Falces III filed the petition in 2015, challenging the High Court to declare as unconstitutional some portions of the Family Code of the Philippines. He pointed out that limiting the definition of marriage as between man and woman is a grave abuse of discretion. Petitioner Falces called himself as an open and self-identified homosexual, but the Office of the Solicitor General that asked the High Court to dismiss the petition said Falces' admission was not enough to compel the SC to act on the case. After months of violent protests, Hong Kong's chief executive Carrie Lam formally withdrew the controversial extradition bill that would extradite suspected criminals to mainland China to face trial. On Wednesday local time, Lam made a 5-minute television address citing that the government will formally withdraw the bill after it sparked massive protests, which was considered as the biggest political crisis in decades.
First, the government will formally withdraw the bill in order to fully allay public concerns. The Secretary for Security will move a motion according to the rules of procedure when the Legislative Council resumes.
The embattled leader also said that their government will introduce measures to address the cause of the massive unrest, including appointing 2 members of the Independent Police Conduct Commission or IPCC, holding a series of dialogues with the community and investigating social problems. But activist Joshua Wong, who was arrested during the protests, said Lam's move was too late.
And that's just a strategy for Beijing, hope to cool down and to reduce the number of participants of protests in the next few weeks, especially on 1st of October. The protests will continue. Hong Kong people will never stop until Hong Kong is the place with democracy and freedom.
Lam also refused to give in to other demands of the protesters, including her resignation and an independent probe on alleged police brutality. Meanwhile, these are the other top news of the week.
The Manila Bulletin brought home 2 awards from the recently concluded 17th Philippine Quill Awards, the country's most prestigious awards programs in the field of business communication. MB's Art for Red bagged an award for communication management under the Corporate Social Responsibility or CSR category, while the company's online campaign against the proliferation of fake news entitled Reverse bagged the award for communication skills under the audiovisual category. Pinoy pole vaulter E.J. Obiena became the first Filipino representative to compete for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. This after he surpassed the 5.80-meter qualifying standard in the men's pole vault competition held in Italy. During the competition, Obiena cleared 5.81 meters. Although he came short of breaking the 5.90-meter Asian record, he was able to surpass his own Philippine record of 5.76 meters. The rate of increase in consumer prices has dropped to 1.7% in August. According to Philippine Statistics Authority, the figure recorded was the lowest in 3 years. PSA said the slower inflation is due to the slower annual increase in the index of the food and non-alcoholic beverages at 0.6%.
Let's take a quick recap of the MB rundown for today, September 6. President Rodrigo Duterte fires Bureau of Corrections Chief Nicanor Faeldon amid controversies on GCTA law and the impending release of former Laguna Town Mayor Antonio Sanchez. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo strongly denies recommending the release of his former client's rape slave convict Antonio Sanchez. The Supreme Court dismisses the plea for same-sex marriage in the country, and Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam formally withdraws the extradition bill after months of violent protests in the region. And that's the MB Rundown. I'm Hannah Tabios.